And welcome to the Dawg Chug. I'm hosting tonight. Andy's on assignment, so hey, you know what? I'm steering this ship, and to the chagrin of many out there, hey, I'm taking over. Maybe like like a communist in New York City. Hey, we won't get into that. No politics tonight. But hey, Nick, what's going on, my guy? Nick Carnes joins us. He's back on the Dawg Chug. He's here tonight. Maybe feeling a little bit under the weather, but you know what? He's going to bring it tonight. What are you bringing, Nick?
I'll tell you what. I'm bringing bourbon and Mountain Dew. I also, you know what? Believe it or not, I have hot chocolate. But I just missed you guys, and it's been a really long time, and it's nice to be back, man. And so, what better night to come back than when you're hosting?
Well, you did say you are back from Austin, Texas. Tell us about your trip down there. You saw the Austin Browns backers, and you said some good things about them. So, hey, share with the audience a little bit about what happened down there.
Which I'll tell you what, I've just always wanted to go to Austin. I've never actually been to Texas. I've been to the airport. That's about it. So chose Austin to go to just on a little weekend getaway, Friday to Monday type situation. And that was when the Browns were playing the Patriots. So I just looked up. I was like, I wonder if Austin has a Browns Packers bar. Sure enough, they did. Great place called Leo's. Drank a lot of Lone Star Light there, which was pretty cool. But the most impressive thing to me is it was like an 80-degree day. And that place was full of Browns fans. I talked to a couple people from there that made the trip from Cleveland to Austin. And I actually, the one girl was moving back from Austin to Cleveland. And I thought that was pretty cool. But the place was full, and it was pretty excited to start the game, because we were up 7-0. And I thought everyone was going to be rewarded, especially when you have all those options of you could live whatever outdoor life you want in Texas in November. Or I guess I should say October. But either way, I was really impressed with the turnout, not so impressed with the result. That's kind of been my whole life as Browns fan. So,
well, also, too, in the comments, MC Lawrence checks in. I guess he's referring to you, Nick. Matt Patricia. Hey, that's not a bad thing. Get the pencil on in between your ears.
Yeah. Eraser first.
Yeah, there you go. Shout out. Maybe you be contributor of the night. Yep. Roger, what's going on with you?
Man, I don't know. Nick, did you do any cattle rustling? Or if I go to Texas, I want to see some, cowboys, and I want to rustle some cattle or something.
I didn't get to see a lot of the rural, the stereotypical Texas stuff. Saw a lot of comedy. Went to Joe Rogan's comedy club, by the way, Mothership. Damn cool place. Very cool.
Nice. I'd like to do that. You know what? I got bad news. I'm back hooked on the nicotine.
Okay.
I'm puffing these things and it was because my one died and I couldn't find the tip and I had to go to the gas station, get one. Now I'm back hooked on the nicotine. I was this close to kicking it, and it got me back in. So I'm puffing away like a champ on these things again.
Well, we got a jam.
I'm not as irritable though. I'm not as irritable.
Oh, okay. So. Well, okay. Well, we check this out. Force of Nature checks in.
Good.
Well, you know what though? Hey, like I said, we accept all comments on the show, and hey, like I said, we like the spice, so keep it up. But we do have a great show tonight. Have a great guest. Roger will introduce him shortly, but we will start off like we do most Dawg Chugs. Like what Andy says, we like to start with the fun, and that fun starts with me. This is Eddie Columbus with your Dawg Chug. Breaking news. The Cleveland Browns were on a bye this past week, and Jerry Jeudy put up his typical fantasy numbers. No days off. At the trade deadline, Andrew Berry and the Browns were thought to be buyers, but it turns out they went shopping like Paul Dolan and the Guardians. And finally, David Njoku was glad that he didn't get traded and said he ain't fucking leaving. Either he likes robbing the Haslam's or that fire to his dome did more damage than doctors thought. Chief slam. And this is Eddie Columbus with your Dawg Chug. Breaking news.
Might as well laugh, man.
Yeah. I just, on that one, good. I love the Chief, and there's times that as he put up the numbers that his contract would warrant. I don't know, and with the way the offense is, it's hard to really tell. But I know he's a good player. I've seen him be a good player. I do want him to kind of stay in Cleveland. I do hope they kind of get some contract thing for next year and moving forward because he is. There's only a couple more games left of the Chief if we don't re-sign him. Nick, what are your thoughts on that one?
That's a hard situation. I am inclined to believe that they'll keep him if they didn't trade him, because it wouldn't make any sense to just lose him in free agency. So I think that they will. We're going to see. I thought the whole trade deadline inaction was probably not what I would have done. I would have liked to see the Browns get some assets for future years, because it just doesn't feel like, as optimistic as I want to be, it just doesn't feel like they are set up to compete even next year. Now, maybe some miracle happens and they get one of these rookie quarterbacks that really just lights the league on fire. That could happen, but been waiting my whole life for that. Saw it once, and he's in Tampa Bay right now. So
yeah. Well, we're gonna kick this show off with a little bit more fun. Roger says Roger's been doing some work lately. I've been getting on Andy about doing bits and things like that. And Roger has stepped up to the plate, and he's got a Dawg Chug update, I believe. You ready, Roger?
Well, what we're doing is it's in a trial period. We want to see if we're going to bring it back and see if I do well enough. And so, yeah, here's tonight's top Dawg Chug stories. In college football news, we go to Colorado along with Browns quarterback Shedeur Sanders as he surprised his dad with a visit during the Browns bye week. It was a special moment the two shared, and the visit helped relieve the sting of the Buffaloes losing by 40-plus points for the second week in a row. The father-son superstar duo looks forward to next season's bye week break when Shedeur-led Browns are 1-8, and Coach Prime has already been fired. It's bad when I stumble on these, and I wrote them.
Yeah.
In NBA news, everyone's still pretending to give a shit about the NBA Cup tournament as they look forward to the actual start of the NBA season on Christmas Day. Have you guys been watching that? Have you pay attention to it?
No.
I got some Cavs throwback jerseys tonight, but that's about it.
Go DG.
In Berea dumpster fire news, the Cleveland Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski has handed over play calling duties to offensive coordinator Tommy Rees to allow Stefanski time to help the team get better in all areas. In related news, Tommy Rees' agent is already looking for possible 2026 coaching gigs for a soon-to-be-fired Stefanski scapegoat client. In more Browns news, here's a short story about quarterback Dillon Gabriel, his career as a starter in the NFL. Wrist up. In Pittsburgh Steelers news, fuck the Steelers. In WNBA news, well, I'm kidding. Nobody gives a shit about the WNBA, so fuck the Steelers again. Let me see. We're not going to do that one. Nobody gives a shit about hockey. Nick's here. I'm not going to do the Magic Johnson age joke. All right. And finally, in Major League Baseball news, the Los Angeles Dodgers have won the 2025 World Series and are world champions for the second year in a row. Here at Dawg Chug, we believe, and tonight I think I speak for all of us, they should take both of their bought championships along with Shohei Ohtani, all the bandwagon hump Dodger fans, Japan, all of it, the neat, tidy, tiny fucking Japan, the whole fucking island, take them all, shove them directly up Mark Walters, Magic Johnson, and the rest of the Google fucking Heim billionaire club and their deferred money and take them and shove them right up their asses. All of you. I'm Roger First in Cuyahoga Falls, and you're not.
Wow. Yeah, Roger. Now I think when we had practiced the trial run, you said something about 2 minutes and 6 seconds. I don't think you stayed under that, but you ended it really nicely.
What do you think? Yeah.
I think you went over. I think there was an over on that. Just like the national anthem during the Super Bowl. I think the betting public, Well,
we're 2 men down tonight, so I figured I'd take a little longer.
Okay. Well, before we get to our guest, we do have another segment that I do. I've taken over, and I've enjoyed doing it. And I actually enjoy doing it more than Breakhead News. It is the top 10, and these are the ones where sometimes I think Nick gets a little bit uncomfortable. And it's not too bad tonight, Nick. I promise it's not too bad tonight. So hang with us, Nick. And tonight's top 10. Top 10 reasons why Sundays are better when the Browns have a bye. Top 10 reasons why Sundays are better when the Browns have a bye. Number 10, you can avoid seeing the graphic pic of the 40-plus quarterbacks since 1999. Now, we're all sick of seeing that, right, Nick? Okay. Number 9, no Spiro Dides. Fuck yeah. Number 8, don't have to cuss on a holy day. Don't have to cuss on a holy day.
Okay.
Number 7, not as many annoying cucks posting on X saying, I have a feeling they're going to win today. Those clowns are just starving for attention. And yes, I'm one of them. Number 6, I don't know, maybe spend some quality time with your family that doesn't include the shittiest football franchise that you care way too much about, you pathetic retard. Once again, that includes us. Number 5, don't have to watch a midget, a diva, and a rapist roaming the sidelines. Sorry, I meant Browns quarterbacks. Sorry. Number 4, you can declare victory Monday because, hey, the Browns didn't lose. Number 3, you don't have to wear poop color brown. Number 2, you can focus on other games or what many call real football. And the number 1 reason why Sundays are better when the Browns have a bye is you don't have to get so shit-faced drunk and pass out just to make it to 4 p.m. And that's tonight's top 10.
Nice. Well done, Ed.
Thank you. Nick, how many times have you gone to a Browns game or whatever like that, or just been watching a Browns game at an event and things aren't going as good as you thought, and you may have an extra beverage or 3 or 4, and then 4 o'clock comes around and the loss doesn't hurt as bad because your body's hurting and then your body just shuts down.
There's a lot of times that the Browns make me block out the existence of football.
Yeah.
And this is, you know what? I was really hoping we weren't going to have to go down this road this year. And here we are. I do think there could be brighter days ahead. It depends if they can hit on this quarterback that they're absolutely going to have a high pick. So we'll see. I'm like tepidly hopeful, I guess. At this point, that's where I'm at. I passed through the anger stage. The anger stage is subsided for the time being.
Okay. Well, that brings us to our. Yes, Roger, go ahead.
Before, I want to ask Nick a couple things. Number 1, could you ask him what was the question you just asked him about? How many times he got? I've only been with Nick for 3 games, and they were all 3 wins.
It's a beautiful.
He ran me over when we beat Baker in Carolina.
Yeah.
We were at the bar. Well, we were always at a bar. Then the other one was when we were with Cyber Dog.
Beat Jacksonville.
Yeah, Manchester Road.
Yeah.
And I think the other one was a preseason game I saw yet.
That sounds right. I was
with my son, and we won that preseason game.
Maybe we got to hang out for some more games, Roger.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to ask you, how many times have you sat on Dawg Chug for the opening and through the first 3-4 minutes you started pounding because you knew it was going to get ugly and what was coming?
That was an opening.
The same result.
That was an opening for sure.
Yeah. There you go. Well, that definitely
I pulled the reins in on 2 of them, Nick. They were more Andy's speed. I shelved them because you're on. So
what a guy. I appreciate it.
Right. Well, that had a great opening, or to Nick's point, it had an opening. It was an opening. But we're going to have a great show starting now because Roger's going to introduce our guest coming on tonight. Who we got, Roger?
All right, man. We got a buddy of mine. We talk football all the time. And he started getting involved in the podcasting. I don't know why he did it to himself, but he did. And he's involved. He's with the Elves Network. And also at Fan First SN, you can find him. Steve Hemrick. I think that's it, right?
Hey, welcome, Steve.
Hemrick. I don't have my reading glasses on.
It's all good.
And he's born and raised Cleveland, Ohio. He's a Cleveland guy and Muni Lot veteran from back in the 80s. Take it away, Steve. How you doing?
How you doing, fellas? A longtime listener, fan of the show, and I can finally say I finally made it.
Nice.
I made it to the Dawg Chug, and like Ninjoko, I ain't fucking leaving.
All right.
Nah, thanks for having me, guys. It's love the show and happy to be a part of it tonight.
Nice.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming on. Go ahead, Dad. It's all yours now.
No. Like I said, great intro. Now, Steve, obviously you do some work for Fanatical Elves and everything like that. So shout out to them. So you like this podcast game. You like doing this. And obviously Nick, part of Barking Browns, and that's kind of how we've met and through this stuff. And, we continue to keep doing it. Not everybody has continued to keep doing it since we kind of started, after COVID and everything like that. So, what keeps you going? What drives you? And, obviously it's not the Browns wins that are doing it for us. That keeps us going weekly, but but it is still the Cleveland Browns and everything. And, so what motivates you still to keep pressing on and everything?
Are you talking to me or Nick?
You.
Oh.
Yeah, I know Nick. I know what keeps Nick going. He's a Browns fan. He's crazy. Maybe you're crazy too. I don't know.
Like you said, longtime fan, been a diehard Cleveland Browns fan since, I was a kid. Actually, I love listening to Brown stuff. Yeah. Oh, Force of Nature. He's right.
Force of Nature. Yeah, he's one of our favorites. So a question for you, since you're old school, you're kind of like these millennials, they you know what I'm saying, they don't know like we do. We remember good football back in the day, but when it comes down to it, we had Casey Coleman, you had, some of the great announcers, obviously
remember Nev Chandler?
Nev Chandler was my favorite Pandemonium Palace back in the day. Yeah.
Wow, you're one of the few guys that have ever said that back to me.
Yeah, Pandemonium. Yeah, my first game was December 17th, 1989. Had to beat the Minnesota Vikings in overtime, throw to Van Waiters for the touchdown. 6 days later, we go to Houston, beat the Oilers 24-20 when Bernie leaves them on a 2-minute drive and hands it to Kevin Mack for the touchdown, last division title. So, yeah, nostalgia from 1989. Those Browns era teams from, 85 to 89, making it 5 consecutive playoff appearances, 3 AFC championship game appearances. It's unfortunately that, to Nick's point, he was too small at the time, or young at the time, I should say, and it's just sad because there was a good time of Browns football that, this generation has not been able to see. But, to your credit, Nick, I'll say this, you're younger, but the passion is still there for Browns football, even though the wins aren't there. So I applaud you for, your continuous efforts to try to make it as fun as possible moving forward.
I feel like the divide is basically like how the move affected you.
Yeah.
I was born in 90. So I didn't really understand what it meant to lose a football team. But what I do remember, and like what made me a Browns fan, was my family had a party to celebrate the Browns coming back. And I just remember seeing the excitement that they felt then. And I was like, 9, 10, somewhere in there. And just feeling that they felt it for this football team. And man, I still remember being in that living room to this day. And it's like, that for me was like the moment I became a Browns fan.
Yeah. And then let me guess, it was a 43-0 drubbing by the Steelers, and then reality set in.
They were back. I mean, post coming back, man, it's just you have the Baker years, and you have like one playoff berth in the early 2000s. That's not like when you guys talk about the 80s. I fantasize about like a division title. You know what I'm saying? I've never seen one.
Oh, it's a totally different time back then. Ed and Roger, you'll know. I mean, back in the 80s, that mid to late 80s, every week we expected to win.
Yeah. It's like,
it was a shock. If we lost, we were always the favorites to win the division. I mean, we were that team. And, we had the heartbreak three times losing.
You know what it reminds, Steve? It reminds me of the baseball in the 90s in Cleveland. Like, obviously the Indians didn't win the World Series from 95 to that 2001 run that they had. But you expected them to win. You expected them to make the playoffs and make a postseason run, in which they did, in which the Browns did. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of that feeling of, kind of like Ohio State. You go into the week thinking you're going to win, and there's a great chance you're going to win. And unfortunately for us now, it's like we just hope to be competitive, and that's kind of.
Well, and who could have ever predicted we'd be this shitty at drafting? I mean, I remember back in the early 90s, the Bengals were that team. Remember every draft they would do, you're like, oh my God.
David Klingler.
And the running back card is like, they always took the wrong guy, and just, it was a joke for, you're like, they're going to blow this. And that's us now. It's weird.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this past draft, kind of Andrew Berry kind of fixed that problem a little bit with Fannin and Schlesinger and all the ones that he got this year. But to your point, his track record has not been good, maybe up until this year. So we shall see. And, they're one-hit wonders. Let's see what they do in their sophomore year next year to kind of anoint them as, saving Andrew Berry's job. But, you're right. The Bengals were the typical joke, the Kajana Carters and all that you're alluding to was quite, unfortunately for him, that knee injury. But, to your point. So, I think that's one thing that we're going to get into. And I'm glad we have you here, Steve. We got you, Nick. I think you guys are great voices for a new segment that we have on the show. And it's called opposition position, where you take the position of your opposition. Now, I don't know exactly if you know, you guys differ in your positions on this. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But I'll ask you this question. Steve, do you think Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry should be evaluated collectively, or should they be, you know, evaluated separately in the evaluation at the end of the year?
I think they go hand in hand. I think it should be collectively, quite honest.
Okay, then fine. Then you're going to go. Then you're going to pick the opposite of that. Nick, you will argue that the Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski should be collectively evaluated, and
Okay.
Steve, you will argue that they should be separate because it's opposition position. You're going to take the position of your opposition. So you answered that, Steve. Thanks for playing along. And Nick, we'll have you go first. So you're going to argue that they should, collectively be
Okay.
Yeah.
So okay. To me, I look at Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski as a unit because they came in as a unit. The one hand washes the other. You can't have a performance deficiency without a talent deficiency. I just think that there are faults on both sides. You look at some of the tape that comes out on Twitter, and I'm not pretending to be some film guru, but I can watch people break down the film and say, this play is dead on arrival, regardless of who you have out there. And then I can look at Andrew Berry trading for Deshaun Watson and say, that was, if it's not the worst trade in NFL history, it's in the top 3. And so I think it's a problem on both sides. And to that point, we've seen like half regimes in the past in the Cleveland Browns history. That has not gone well. So I think it's a full house clean or a no house clean. And I can't imagine why it wouldn't be a house cleaning, but we'll see.
Okay. All right. Steve, now you're going to go the opposite and say they should be judged separately.
They should totally be judged separately. I mean, look at the draft class we had this year. It was a phenomenal class. He's put the talent on the field, and we suck coaching. It comes down to coaching. You know, our offense, look at every offensive statistic. We are almost last or top, 31, 32. The offense is terrible. Stefanski now is again for the second time, which I think is a desperation move, going to give up the play calling, but it's still his shitty offense. Tommy Reese is going to be calling plays for the first time. I mean, Barry, what happened? Judy, he made the great trade for Judy last year. Remember the games he had? Didn't Judy have a 200-something yard game against his former Broncos?
Yeah.
We can't get our receivers the ball. That's coaching. Barry could only put so much on the field, but Stefanski's got to coach it. And our special teams, it's all falls under that. The special teams suck. The offense sucks. The defense is pretty good. Yeah. But I mean, Barry, how much more can he give him? I mean, other than a franchise quarterback and an offensive line and, all that. But other than that, fuck him.
Oh, wow. Okay. Before we get into Roger's evaluation of that, give me Judy Bloom. Shout out to Vinny Goblin. Bring back John Dorsey. Thanks for the and also Force of Nature. I do appreciate the shake and blake kind of in the Pickens thing. That's just my old ass living the 90s there. But Roger, what are your thoughts on that one? Steve, I thought you did a great job up until that last sentence. You might have wanted to exclude from that argument, but hey.
I got to say that I got to go Steve's way because, first of all, they not hand in hand. Stefanski was here first. He was hired by DePodesta first. He was interviewed the year before, and the year before I wanted nothing to do with him because I didn't want anything to do with the rookie head coach again. And then the following year, when he's introduced again or interviewed again, I watched Case Keenum and his offense, and I thought that's the perfect offense for Baker Mayfield. Actually, that was the other way around. The first year I wanted him and they hired Kitchens instead. The second year I didn't want anything to do with the rookie coach, and that's when they hired Stefanski. But you know what? They both signed off on they can't win with Baker Mayfield. It's they're both responsible. I think they're 50-50 responsible with whatever Haslam isn't responsible for. But just because I got to go Steve, because I think that the problem is when somebody said bring Dorsey back. when Dorsey was here, he had full control of the roster. We were talking about David Njoku earlier. Njoku was in the doghouse and on his way out of here if it wasn't for Dorsey being fired or Sashi Brown wanting to keep David Njoku, because Dorsey wanted his tight end / small forward from some D2 school. What was his name? Demetrius Harris, to play tight end. And that's that's how Njoku ended up. He wasn't in Freddie Kitchens' doghouse. He was in John Dorsey's doghouse, and the GM had too much control and too much say on the roster. I think this guy picks the players, and this guy's, right now, I think it's a clusterfuck. I don't think Kevin Stefanski has any fucking power. I don't think he has any power. And like right now, he's Pontius Pilate. He's washing his hands. He's done with it.
Yeah. Well,
Steve, I got Steve.
You got Steve. Okay. Well, like I said, that we'll go with that. Like I said, I thought Nick did a great job, honestly. Like, but honestly,
Nick did a good job.
I don't even
want argument.
I don't even want to. Yeah, it is hard. I don't even want to pick a winner because it's one of those things where if it keeps going the way that it is, whether they judge them collectively or separately or this or that, their asses both should be fired. I mean, whether you do it as they're both going to work their way out, because at the end of the year, how many times are we saying that? And Steve, I think you kind of made Nick's argument a little bit when at that last line, because what about the offensive line? How did Andrew Berry let this offensive line go to shit? Like, you can talk about the quarterback not being there, the wide receivers, whatever that the case may be. But, Stefanski can say this: I want to run my offense. They don't have time to throw the ball because the offensive line is shit. You know what I'm saying? So there's just so many. It goes hand in hand, whether you do it collectively or not. I think both have warranted a way out of Cleveland, and especially if if we don't win any more games this year, I don't see how they both stay, whether you judge them collectively, but they would probably both be fired on that Black Monday, I would assume. So that's why I said there's no winners. As Browns fans, when it comes to those two right now, there's no winners. If Roger wants to give to Steve, that's fine. I thought you both did a great job tonight, and that will end opposition position. Great job, gentlemen.
Thank you. Yeah. And I agree with Nick. I think they both should go.
And see, that's the thing. I think at the end of the
year, how can you get rid of a GM? The new GM that comes in is going to want his own guy.
Exactly.
So, and they've made it clear they're in it together. Barry and Stefanski, they keep that front that they talk together. Everything's decided together. So if that's the case, stand by your record the last few years.
And I think we can all agree too with this, like whether it's Barry or Stefanski, can Paul DePodesta just get fired? Can he just go just to make us all feel better? Because he's a guy collecting a big paycheck, and as people that wake up and go to work every day, and you know what I'm saying? It's like, that's kind of frustrating. And then he lives in California. He's not even in Cleveland, and he's so, I don't know. It's just, I think he's got to go.
Just think, when you're in year 6, you need to be showing some type of growth or foundation or stability, and it's just all gone to hell in a handbasket since 2023. And maybe they made their bed when they let Joe Flacco go. I'm not sure, because obviously Joe didn't look like he does in Cincinnati this year, but Kevin clearly had something going with him in 2023, and they broke that tie. You know what I'm saying? And it hasn't been, the offense has not sniffed that level of production since. I mean, you could point to Jameis Winston, but he was throwing the ball to the other team as much. At least Joe had a positive touchdown interception ratio. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, that will get us into our classic game on the Dawg Chug. It's our staple. It is time for Spit, Sip, Chug, a game with so much claim and fame. And yes, Andy Manchin, I did give it its name. Spit, Sip, Chug. I will say a statement. It is a statement, not a question. So don't question my statement. If you heavily agree with that statement, you will chug. If you hate that statement and disagree fully, you will spit. Don't have to really spit. Andy really spits. It's really sad. He makes his wife clean it up. Not a good thing. Don't do that. And if you kind of agree with it and kind of don't, you'll just take a nice sip. We'll let the guest tonight, Steve, decide, is Roger allowed to sip?
To sip?
Yeah. Because we make them either do, we like extremes on the Dawg Chug, so
Roger
we don't let them sip.
Likes to swing one leg over the fence and firmly straddle it.
Right.
I think in honor of him going back to the nicotine, he needs to chug.
All right. Well, no sipping. No sipping tonight for you, Roger.
Tonight, sir.
Nope.
It's only 11. It's only 10 o'clock.
Yeah,
we're way ahead of schedule. But we still have 3 beers down here.
All right. Well, we will start with our guest, and we'll start with you, Steve. And since yesterday, I thought of this one. So basically, the Jets are doing what the Browns should have done this year to get the quarterback next April. The Jets are doing what the Browns should have done this year to get the quarterback next April.
Wow, come out swinging, huh?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna chug.
Yeah. Oh, wow, he really is damning. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I've been waiting all night for this, fellas.
All right.
No, I'm seeing what they got. All those draft picks. Let's be honest. We're not as. I thought we were closer than what we are. We're not. And I don't know about next year's quarterback class. There's high expectations, but so far nobody's really set themselves apart. You know, looks like the clear-cut guy. But blow this up. We have so many holes right now. Build for that future, whether it's with Barry or somebody else. So I say blow it up. Do all those trades, get those 5 or 6 first-round picks, and go.
Yeah, nice. I'm going to follow Steve, and I'm going to chug as well. It is kind of disheartening that, we're playing the team that, that we have to make the statement for that's kind of doing what I thought we should have been doing this year. This year was one of those years, and we talked about it before the beginning of the season, where, winning meaningless games is not going to help a franchise. And because I thought the holes that we had going into it and what Steve just said, that we have more holes than what we thought, I kind of thought – I'm not really surprised. I thought the offensive line was trash. Now, I'm an Ohio State fan, and DeJuan Jones, he had some promise, but I don't think he's a long-term answer. I think you need probably 3 offensive linemen. Probably you should probably draft all offensive linemen. If you don't like the quarterbacks next year, I'm okay with even punting another year and just building with wide receivers, because the NFL is about scoring a lot of points, right? And all wide receivers are small, undersized, and even if Judy's having a good year, we still need another, like to Spirides, whoever said point, that our wide receivers are small. We talk about Dylan Gabriel being small, but our wide receivers are small as well. We really need to get all new offensive linemen, all new wide receivers, start that way, and really, because look, I think we're to the point where, I hate to say this, but like 2029 is the year. We can't open that brand new palace in Brook Park and be a shitty football team. We have to be a competitive football team, just like when we came back in 1999 and they did the rush job and they didn't give us the draft picks like they did Carolina and Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. Like, we have a chance that, we have 3 good for whatever drafts up until 2029 to really set it right. If we're really going to have this, the new Browns, to me, this is a second iteration of them. It didn't go so well, but the 2029 Browns moving forward we could pick up that history that left when we went to Baltimore and try to forget these last 30 years, and let's do it right. And sometimes it's a slow process, and I hate it, but at the same time, like, I want to open up that building in 2029 and be a playoff team, be a really good, exciting football team. And I think that should be the goal for the Cleveland Browns. And it's going to suck for the next couple of years, but we got to do it that right and build it up that way. So that's why I'm chugging on that one. Roger.
I'm chugging.
Okay.
Where this franchise made the biggest mistake that started everything was they didn't trade the Tim Couch pick. Yeah. And in those days, if you trade the number 1 overall pick in those days,
you got a big
you're getting somebody's entire draft.
Yep.
And then finish last the next year and trade that one and start stockpiling picks and start building in the trenches. Sashi Brown came in, and what he did is he stopped the constant 5-11, 4-12s year after year, because what do we have? We had Butch Davis, and then the excitement after Butch, and everything went downhill. And then all of a sudden, they flipped a coin. Romeo Crennel flipped a coin over Derek Anderson and Charlie Fry, for God's sakes.
Yep.
And we had the excitement of that year where the Raiders game, we win the Raiders game and we go to the playoffs, and that crazy finish. And then again, it was back to the same thing, 4-12, whatever the amount of games, or 16 games. And what they need, I think they should have started last year. I would have traded Myles Garrett. For sure. I would have traded Denzel Ward. How many years does Denzel Ward have left in him? Is he going to be around when we're finally winning again? Njoku, We got nobody on the offensive line. This is one thing about Andrew Berry nobody ever mentions when they're praising him, when the British kid is fucking writing blowing smoke up Andrew Berry's ass. I need a 25-year-old in fucking England to tell me about the Cleveland Browns. Like, I need. This is one thing that they don't talk about Andrew Berry. He blew a left fucking tackle pick, too. The next tackle picked is going to be a Hall of Famer. Andrew Berry has blown 2 fucking quarterbacks. Now he's on his 3rd and 4th. He's left tackle. He's Nick Chubb. He took a roster that was primed to win over from John Dorsey and the mistakes Dorsey made with Beckham and all that. Beside all that, he took a young offensive line. He brought in Bill Callahan, and they were primed to win. And he's rebuilding his fucking disaster, you know. And it's like praising the fucking captain of the Titanic, how good he loaded the lifeboats. You know, oh, he did a fucking great job loading them lifeboats after he hit the fucking iceberg. I'm fucking tired of Andrew Berry. They should have started rebuilding the front office, the coaching staff, the roster, and I wish they could rebuild the fucking hillbilly from Tennessee. But unfortunately, we're stuck with that asshole in Jimmy World coming soon.
Hallelujah.
Nick, what are we doing here?
I'm not going to make it a clean sweep. I am going
to. You do know, Nick, if we do make it a clean sweep, then we all chug again. But it's okay.
You told me how to chug.
No. I said I'm not going to make it a clean sweep, and I am going to sip.
Yeah.
Because I do think that if they get the quarterback right, we've seen a lot of teams that suddenly have this talent that was just sitting around, putzing around, look a lot different because there's somebody under center that can throw the damn ball. So I do think there's a chance that they could draft a quarterback that's a real difference maker next year, and then suddenly they could hit the ground running while Myles Garrett is still in his prime, and Denzel Ward's going to be 29. And Njoku's going to be 29 as well.
29, yeah.
So it's like you're still right there if it happens immediately. Right. So I could see the logic for saying, okay, we keep our guys, and if we draft the right quarterback, suddenly like this could look like maybe a real offense, especially considering, you know, you have Quinshon Judkins now, who just is successful despite no blocking around him. And the offense needs a lot of work, right? The offense does need a lot of work, but quarterbacks solve a lot of problems.
Yeah.
So on that premise, because I do know the defense is good, if the offense can just not leave them on the field the entire game, I'm just going to sip because getting the right quarterback could rocket them to at least being a respectable football team. It could. It's a long shot.
Right.
It's a long shot, but I at least have to sip for it.
Okay.
I kind of like what you said before, Ed. You know, you were talking about the Browns, and to get that franchise quarterback would be huge. It's something we're desperately trying to find. Yeah. But we have so many other holes, and the NFL is a copycat league. I mean, it used to be. Seems like, in the 90s and 2000s, you get a Peyton Manning, you get that franchise quarterback, he's going to make everybody else better.
Right.
Well, look at the trend now. Look at all these retreads.
The Sam Darnolds, the Indiana Joneses.
And what does it say for the Indianapolis Colts to make that trade and give up 2 first-round picks?
For Sauce.
Tells me they believe in Daniel Jones, and they're not looking for a franchise quarterback because you ain't trading 2 first-round picks
no.
if you don't think you have the quarterback. So, in that regard, where's our retread? Nick, you kind of hit, 2 years ago, we kind of hit a little bit with Flacco with the whole Flacco fever. So is it, I don't love the quarterbacks coming out. Is it crazy to think, build up everything else around it and, see if you can get that retread quarterback or maybe one of these 2 kids does work out?
Right, because I look at the quarterbacks, Steve. I like Mendoza from Indiana. I don't know. I like even Julian Saint. I love him for Ohio State, but he's still only 6'1". Like I don't know if Lenore Sellers from South Carolina, all these ones that we thought were going to be Arch Manning from Texas, all these ones in college, none of them impressed me. And we haven't even seen Shador play yet, but he was, some people had him at a number 2 overall going into the draft next year, last year. So I don't know. I mean, I know Rodgers. He's had enough of that, but at the same time, it's like, let's be real. No matter who we get, we're going to have to fix the wide receivers. We're going to have to fix the offensive line. No matter if we had our franchise quarterback, that has to be addressed.
Well, what were we saying just a couple years ago? Before Nick Chubb got hurt, that line was solid. We had to run the game. We were clamoring, just give us average quarterback play, and we're a playoff team. And we haven't had any of it. Now we've got nothing. I've never seen a team like the Browns where you go to the playoffs for 1 year. Next year, expectations are sky high. You're like, we're playoffs, and we shit the bed, and we win 3 or 4 games. Then a year later or so, then you win again. You're like, we're back. Playoffs next year, and it seems like we go back down. Now we're, possibly 2 straight years of, losing seasons. It's just so frustrating as a fan that you think we're right there. You look at some of the pieces. We're nowhere near like we were in 99. I mean, those rosters were terrible. Yeah. We had no depth. We get a couple injuries, we were screwed. I do feel like this roster's got talent.
Yeah.
So what is it? Is it the coaching? Why do we suck so bad?
Yeah. That's
$1 million question.
I do feel like the wide receivers as a whole are just not producing anything.
Yeah.
And having that room that's become one of the most dynamic and difference-making groups in football, like modern football, just be the worst. I mean, honestly, it's like the Browns and the Titans for like the worst wide receivers.
Ohio State has better wide receivers than the Browns.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean,
I agree with that, man. Jerry Jeudy had a shining, wonderful year last year, and now can't get out of his own way, and it's like nobody else. Isaiah Bond's not running the right routes, and Cedric Tillman's coming back, and they're acting like he's going to be a huge difference maker. Which, I mean, he's had some flashes, but he's also had issues running the right routes. Andrew Berry has yet to draft and develop. I mean, I know it's not his job to develop, but Andrew Berry has yet to draft a wide receiver that meaningfully contributed in the NFL. And that's including the Browns and every one of the other teams.
Yeah.
And you can't do that. You can't.
Well, let's go move on to our statement number 2. Let's have some more fun, Nick, considering this kind of ties, and it all ties into it because it's horrible. But we'll start with you, Nick. We'll go around the other way. Dylan Gabriel has to do good against the Jets, or it's Shador time. Take this however you want, Nick. Take it what direction you want to take it. Blame whoever you want to. Feel free to do whatever you want.
I'm not going to spit, but I would spit.
Okay.
Because, no, wait. Dylan Gabriel has to do well, or it's Shador time. Yeah. I'm not going to chug bourbon, but I will drink it.
Okay. Well, fine. If you want to say chug but only sip, that's fair too. It is bourbon.
It is bourbon like a gentleman, Nick.
Little Jeffersons in your life. It's just good old straight bourbon. But anyway,
there you go.
I just can't imagine a world like the season is getting short quickly.
Yeah.
And you're trotting out the worst offense in football. I just can't, especially for this regime in year 6. I just don't think you have any more time. You have to do everything and anything to try to be a respectable offense. Or the wheels just come off the wagon, right? You enter December and you have no effort, and the team quits on the coach.
We've seen that before. Nick.
Yeah, we've seen that before. That's where we're headed right now, right? I don't care how much talent your defense has. If the offense doesn't do anything, eventually they're going to quit.
Yep.
That's how that works. Okay, we've seen it forever. So, I completely agree. If Dylan doesn't do something against Jets, who literally rolled out the red carpet for the Browns to just beat them up like they did Miami.
Yeah.
Because they just sold, and they're saying that, like, hey, we want Fernando Mendoza.
That's basically what they said. That's exactly what they said. They watched the Oregon game, and they said, all right, that's our guy. That's what they said.
Right, them in New Orleans. We'll see who has the least wins.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They're pretty bad, too.
I think it's between those two.
Well, that's the thing. When you need a quarterback, guess what? There's also other desperate franchises, and if they're willing to make the moves, get the assets, it makes it a lot more difficult. And let's be real, Jacksonville keeps winning. Stop it, Jacksonville. Sucks. Yeah, man. Roger, what do you got?
I'm spitting.
Okay.
What good does that do? It's the Jets. They just traded everybody. Nick posted, what was the cornerback that they got? Didn't you put something up that I don't know, man? I mean, they got nobody. What good does him beating the Jets do? If he, throws 4 touchdowns against them, from the 5-yard line. You know what I mean?
I mean, it'd be
I
hope.
don't know,
It'd be
man.
a sign of hope, maybe.
I mean, it's better than what he's been doing. I mean,
And
Sure would feel nice to score 4 touchdowns.
With his first start, I was like, okay, here we go. Left-handed Colt McCoy. He's not even left-handed Colt McCoy.
no,
He's not even Colt McCoy.
no.
I not at no point have I seen him. I don't care if he beats the Jets 56-0. That doesn't tell me anything about Dylan. We would have known in year 3 of his college career if he was an NFL franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
And that's we keep guessing about these kids that we're guessing at, that are coming out, and none of them, zero. You know them when you see them. These guys coming out are I don't know, man. I don't know, but he's definitely. I don't care what he does against the Jets. That's no barometer.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm going to spit, but I'm really gonna sip because my throat kind of is a little bit. So it's a spit, but I'm really sipping so those people out there hearing impaired or whatever. Sorry, I'm really spitting. But shout out to Force of Nature. He did mention Darren Cheverini. I'll never forget the play, the 1999 game when we go to Pittsburgh after losing 43-0 in the opener, and we go win 16-15 with a Phil Dawson field goal. But what set up that was a Tim Couch over the middle to Darren Cheverini for a big play to about midfield or whatever. And then the tick as Chris Palmer did not call timeout and ran the field goal unit on there. And Phil Dawson comes running out there and kicks the game winner at Three Rivers Stadium. So I'll never forget that. So the Darren Cheverini references and then the Mark Campbell reference to Force of Nature. I'll never forget that one. Mark Campbell caught the touchdown pass from Tim Couch in Baltimore when Tim Couch waved to the Baltimore Ravens as we knocked them out of the playoffs in 2001. So shout out Force of Nature. Nostalgia and us being old guys, we love that shit. So keep bringing it, Force of Nature. But and this statement right here, because it's a has to right there, that's why I'm spitting, because it's Kevin Stefanski, and for whatever reason they don't want to play Shedeur Sanders. I don't know what it is. And the kid's been in camp been in Berea since basically April, and they said, fuck it, we're just, I know he's had some injuries, but are they really injuries? I don't know. I mean, back, oblique, shoulder. I mean, for a kid that's not getting reps in practice, how injured could he be getting? I mean, he had no problem going to Colorado this past weekend, so I don't know what the deal is. Is there a scenario where, I don't know, Deshaun Watson plays before Shedeur Sanders this year? I don't know. It's the Cleveland Browns, so I can't put that past. So that's why I have to be spitting, but I did sip out there for those people that actually watch me. So, Steve, what do you got?
Damn. Well, first off, your memory is amazing. Some of the stuff you're throwing out from 99 and games things, I'm like,
no, I don't forget. It doesn't get me anywhere in life, Steve, but I love it.
Right? I am great when it comes to useless stuff, sports, movies, but comes to important stuff, I'm not the guy. I've gone back and forth while you guys have all been talking, but I'm going to go with my original gut, and just because I want to keep chugging tonight, I'm chugging.
Okay.
And it's because Roger made valid points, but I'm going to go kind of the opposite direction in that it is the Jets. They just traded their two best defensive players. They've got no defense. And if you look like shit against this team, what's the excuse then? I mean, this is not a good defense. So if you can't look halfway decent to good, I know, is 4 games enough? No, realistically. But in today's NFL and with will they do it? Probably not. Like you were saying, Ed, they, for whatever reason, they do not want to play this kid. But, if he looks terrible against a defense like this, I don't want to see him anymore. You got to see what you got in Shedeur. I mean, we got the 2 first-round picks next year, So just for the sake that if he looks bad against a defense like this, then I think you have to look and give the other quarterback some evaluation.
I would agree with that. I mean, what more at this point can you take? I mean, I think like what Ken Carmen was saying, it's like, playing against Ignatius, and then he said name Kirtland or whatever like that. He didn't want to throw Ignatius under the bus, and that's kind of what the Jets are throwing out there this weekend. They put up their white surrender flag, and if you can't go in there and look halfway decent, then what are we doing? What are we doing? So, all right, well, that will conclude statement number 3. We'll go to statement number 2. We'll go to statement number 3, I should say. And this one kind of ties into it. And I'm glad that we didn't actually mention it during this whole Dylan Gabriel thing because it kind of plays into it. But we'll start with me this time, I guess, and say giving up play calling is a desperation move. Yeah, I'm definitely chugging on it. I will say it's quite ironic that, for two-time coach of the year, this is the second year in a row that he's gave play calling. I mean, in the fact that he still has a job. I mean, usually when you give up play calling, it doesn't work out. Usually that's the end of your tenure. But no, it's the Cleveland Browns. And, because Jimmy Haslam has fired so many coaches in the past, for the sake of continuity, we're staying sucky. It makes no sense to me as well. I mean, two wrongs don't equal a right. So. But in Jimmy's world, I guess it does. So, yes, it's desperation move 101. But also, too, does this lead to the point where I thought Tommy was more in line with Shedeur Sanders? So it kind of is weird that, he's calling plays for Dylan Gabriel when I would have thought if they made the move to Shedeur Sanders, that would be the time that you turn over the play calling, but no, we're turning over the play calling first. It's so Cleveland Browns, like to the point when you hire a GM and coach, you don't hire the GM first. I'm saying you hire the coach first because that's only in Cleveland. Usually a normal hires a president, he hires a GM who hires a coach, but in Cleveland, they just don't do things that way. And it seems like on the field, too, when it comes to coaching and the decisions, it seems like, the line doesn't just go up or down in one direction. It kind of, the meanders this way and does that because that's a Cleveland Browns thing. And maybe that's why we're in the boat that we're in and not winning many games since 1999. But the drama story continues and will happen again this week in New Jersey. So, yeah, desperation move. And that's why I'm chugging. We'll go Steve.
And you said is it a desperation move, correct?
It is a desperation move. Giving up play calling is a desperation move.
I'm going to keep the streak. I'm going to keep chugging.
All right.
Just because it's fun.
Yeah.
I do think so. It's his offense. Second year in a row now doing it. That was his forte. Summer Sanders 80.
Nice.
That was his forte of, play calling and all that. So, Tommy Rees never called plays before. It's Stefanski's offense. So, are things going to be much different? I don't know. But, I think it's total desperation move. I'm curious, though, to see, I will admit, Tommy Rees, like you brought up about the Sanders. So is this a prelude to possibly seeing Sanders here? If not this game, the next game? Isaiah Bond, I know he's hurt. And I don't think he practiced today, or maybe it was limited. I can't remember. He started off slow. There was a game or two where he made some catches, and I'm like, okay, let's see what this kid's got. And then he's disappeared again. Tommy's got the background with him. So I'm kind of curious to see, does he get him more involved? Does he get our receivers more involved? So I think it's a desperation move. Is it Stefanski being like, well, look, it wasn't me. I mean, we've all been there. We've all kind of second guessed and questioned some of his play calls. When you think you should run the ball, he passes 50 times, So is it his way of saying, if they look like crap still, well, see what, it's the play call, So I think it's a total desperation move. So we'll see.
Yeah. All right, Roger, you can get us all chugging again if you're chugging with us. You chugging, Roger?
I think it's more of a what's the word I'm looking for? Not a surrender, but more of a conceding.
A capitulation. Capitulation.
No, I think it's him conceding. Okay, this season's over. I'm going to start coaching the young guys up and coaching the rest of the team up. I'm going to let my young OC get some experience before we fire him. I don't see it as desperation. I see it as he's, man, in hindsight, 2020, but just like watching Baker Mayfield walk out the door and saying, I can't win with him. I'm going to keep running this kid out there hurt. I think he's that fucking bullheaded and that I just think he's pretentious. Now, I don't view him as witty or smart. I view him as a pretentious asshole every time he opens his mouth. They asked him today a question and he didn't fucking even attempt to answer it. I'd keep fucking hammering him. You know what I mean? I'd keep fucking hammering him. I'd ask him again and ask him fucking again. He seems like a pretentious asshole. Right now, he's just, like I said, punches pie. He's washing his hands of it. He's conceding. This season's over. He's going to go over and just fuck other shit up. I'm tired of all of them.
Okay.
Was that a chug, spit? What am I doing?
Well, you're not allowed to sip, so it's either a spit or a chug.
I'm going to chug. It's
all right, we're all chugging again. All right,
It's desperation. It might be desperation to hold on to his job. That
there you go.
I don't know what it is. Who knows what they're doing? Nothing makes sense. It does.
I think you guys for Dawg Chug, you need to get Roger credentialed, and I want him at a press conference hammering those questions.
Yeah.
They
thought Tony Grossi was being an a-hole.
We already got a faction of people on X and writing from their basement that are yearning to get in. You know, that's their goal, and that's not me. No. I don't give a fuck. They don't want to hear my questions.
Well, that will end a nice, rousing edition of Spit, Sip, Chug. Congratulations, gentlemen. We made it. But that doesn't mean we're done with the bits tonight, Steve, because you are the guest. You are going under rapid fire. That's right, rapid fire. You got 3 seconds to answer, basically. Just answer the question. If you want to think about saying something else, just don't fucking do it. Just don't do it. Shout out to Elfman, who had a perfect rapid fire. So, Steve, you ready? Here we go. Did the Browns screw up not trading for Garrett Wilson?
No. Does
Andrew Berry know what the hell he's doing?
No.
Is Paul DePodesta really a Russian spy?
Yes.
Yes.
Is Dylan Gabriel just too short to play quarterback?
Yes.
Should the Browns start Sanders?
Yes.
Will changing play callers make a big difference?
No.
Are the Browns bad at being bad?
Yes.
Is this David Njoku's last year in Cleveland?
Yes.
Are you excited about Brook Park?
Yes.
Is Myles Garrett a crybaby bitch?
Yes.
And finally, when will you start shopping for Christmas presents?
About a week before Christmas.
And you are off rapid fire. Yeah, that's a good. Well, I know people. They go from Halloween and then it goes straight to Christmas. We don't even celebrate Thanksgiving anymore. Like back in my day, we learned about pilgrims and Squanto and all that stuff. And nowadays with commercialism, you go to the Mariah Carey, Christmas song on November 1st.
I hate everything about the stores anymore. I remember a few years back, it was beginning of January, and I needed a winter coat. So my wife and I went to Kohl's. I'm like, I got to get a coat. And we go there and I see bathing suits. I'm like, what the hell is bathing suits? It's January. I need a winter coat.
Yeah,
It's crazy. And now the stores, right after Halloween, Christmas stuff was already out. You go to Costco and stuff, but they totally blow by Thanksgiving and it's Christmas, and I can't stand that.
Yeah, it's just the way it is. It's not everything's 6 months in advance. You're getting ready. It's like I don't know. Roger, when you shopping for Christmas, what are you getting me for Christmas this year? Something nice?
Hey, the same thing I got you last year, but in blue.
Oh no, I don't. As long as it's not Michigan blue, we'll be all right. But
how about Hawaiian blue?
Honolulu blue. I like Honolulu blue.
Yeah, Halloween Hawaiian.
Yeah.
See, Steve made me chug. Now I've been into 4 beers.
No.
So.
All right. Well. That will honestly, I'm going to keep it under an hour. Maybe we can have a little post game, but we'll keep it under an hour for Andy's sake. Roger, what do you got?
Shouldn't we pick? Last time when Andy didn't make it, we didn't pick, and he's like, should we pick 3 games or no?
We're going to do that. I think off the record because I don't have the over.
Oh, you're okay. All right.
I'll say this: I will pick the Browns to win this week. I don't know what the line is. I don't care, but I'll.
Last I saw, wasn't it like 2.5? It jumped after the trades. I think we are now 2.5 favorites. Last I saw, I don't know if it's changed.
Okay, so I know Ohio State's playing.
We are 2.5 favorites.
So
okay.
I always usually pick Ohio State or pick the Browns to lose, but I think with this week, so we'll get those to Andy and he can play with that later. Shout out to Andy who's on assignment tonight. Steve, tell us where to find you. Do all your plugs, everything you need to do to get this in here.
Well, as Roger said, I part of the Fanatical Elves and Fans First Sports Network. Me and my buddy, best friend John, we do a show called There's a Gleam. You can catch it on all the big There's a Gleam. So you guys would.
He's up. Marty Schottenheimer's up for the Hall of Fame. I see. Yep.
Right.
That's a great name, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah, that was Johnny's idea. We tossed around. I mean, we were looking, and there's umpteen thousand, Browns podcasts, and we wanted to try and be somewhat original. We talk about a variety of stuff. With these guys, they were looking for a lot of Browns content, so we did that. But we also do a segment called The Land, where we're big eaters. We love to eat food. We love to go to places. So we'll spotlight places. We just had a show today. I'm a big fan of the West Side Market. So Shoe Cry's a big – what's that?
I'm going to join you in that once Henry turns 18.
There you go.
We're 13 years away.
Nice. But yeah, no, we're our podcast
That's
called
awesome.
There's a Gleam. We're on YouTube, Facebook, X.
Nice.
I'm not on Twitter, but my I am not on TikTok. But Johnny went national on that Ultimate Sports Show.
Okay.
We did we talked our episode before, we talked about the possible season ticket prices and PSLs, and Ultimate Sports, Cleveland Sports Talk Show.
Uh-huh.
They picked up his TikTok and played it. He was going over some of the prices and PSLs. Yeah. So,
Nice.
But yeah, check us out. I'm at ME44. My buddy John's at Get the Gleam. John R at Get the Gleam. But like I said, fans of your guys, you guys inspired me a little bit. So to try my hat at this.
We took our name because we took the dog for clicks, because we figured everybody will follow dog, anything dog. And then we're like, well, what we drink, so let's chug. So that's how that was born. We just wanted the clicks. We wanted to get as many follows as possible. You guys went the right route. You went with something classic. I love the name of yours. Man, that is awesome.
Yep.
I'm
jealous. I love your guys' concept, your bits that you do, Ed. I love the break Ed news. That's awesome.
Like I said, it's got to have a little fun. As a Browns fan, got to break up the monotony of losing and try to win. Win.
Well, it's funny because Roger, we were talking beforehand before the show. We mentioned before, about a week or so ago, Ace Frehley passed away, and it was so funny because I made a comment. Back as a kid, my mom, for like 2 straight years, I went as Ace Frehley for Halloween. She did all the kids. Well, I saw your post, and I knew you're from Cleveland. I'm like, holy shit, did we grow up together? And I just, forgot your name, and like we're reconnecting, 40-something years later. But you said you're West Side. I was on the East Side. So, but when you said that, I think I did the Step Brothers thing. Did we just become best friends?
Nice.
My mom made me dress up. I forget the one year. I forget what the hell, a hobo. And I went to my buddy's house, and his sister made me Ace Frehley. She painted my face like Ace Frehley. So the next year, I was full blown. I had the spaceman suit and everything.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That was when he, back in the 70s. Shit, the 70s.
Well,
sorry, we went over an hour.
No, it's fine. And you'll kill me later, but it's fine. We had a great time tonight. Roger, any last words for you? Because this might take a minute or two.
No, I want to thank Steve for coming on, man. Ed, thanks for taking the reins tonight. Thank Nick Carnes for coming in.
Yep.
I guess go Browns.
Go Browns. Okay. Well, like I said, thanks Steve for being on. Roger, as always. I always like hosting. I can't lie. It's always fun when you get to direct things. And Andy should be back next week. And you know what? Hey, we're going to New Jersey. I know it's in New York, but it's really New Jersey. Got a chance to get a victory. And you know what? Even it's the Jets. I don't care. It's still the Browns. It's still Cleveland. We still want to get the win. So drink them if you got them. Thanks for tuning in. And go Browns.
Go Browns.